Just walking out of the courthouse with my team here, $300,000 verdict against Carnival after a week in trial. The jury returned a verdict in favor of our client. And we are absolutely thrilled that justice prevailed. Great news. Great news.
Old School Will is back again. This time, 14 tequila shots. Passenger winds up at the bottom of the staircase, and now it's a $300,000 lawsuit? Something just ain't right.
A woman drank 15 tequila shots on a Carnival cruise ship. She fell down a staircase, and a jury handed her $300,000. Here is where it gets complicated. Diana Sanders boarded the Carnival Radiance in January 2024. Over 8 hours, bartenders served her approximately 14 tequila shots. Just after 11:30 p.m., she fell on a stairway. Concussion, back injuries, tailbone damage. She sued Carnival for negligence. The jury agreed, but only partially. They found Carnival 60% responsible. They found Sanders 40% responsible for her own injuries, and they still awarded her $300,000. Carnival is appealing. They argue she couldn't identify a single bartender who overserved her. No crew member reported visible signs of intoxication. So here is the real question. At what point does personal responsibility outweigh corporate negligence? Because someone handed her that 15th shot, but someone also took it. Drop your verdict in the comments. Was justice served, or did personal responsibility just get overruled?
Imagine going on a 3-day Carnival cruise out of Florida. You bought, or the passenger bought, the Cheers package. You know, usually the limit on those things are, 15 drinks per 24 hours? So this particular passenger decided she would kind of find out the limits. So she had 14 shots in, guess what? 8.5 hours. Imagine 14 shots of tequila in 8.5 hours. She blacked out, had no memories of what had occurred. Right. She woke up injured at the bottom of the staircases.
Do drink packages on cruise ships force people to overconsume? Let's get into it. Now, for about a week, you guys have been in my comments and my DMs asking me to talk about the case of Dulcie White. And if you don't know, Dulcie White was 66 years old last year when she boarded Allure of the Seas to take part with her daughter Megan in a Taylor Swift cruise. It was on this cruise that Miss White purchased an unlimited drink package, and her daughter Megan says she had at least 7 alcoholic drinks within 6 hours. They then went back to their balcony cabin. Megan says she turned around and her mother was gone. Miss White's body has not been found, and Megan is now suing Royal Caribbean, saying that the drink package encouraged her mother to overconsume, and that is why her mother is no longer here. Now, before I say anything else, I just want to say I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to lose a family member in this way, and I truly and legitimately empathize with Megan and the rest of Miss White's family. I can't even begin to imagine. However, as I have said multiple times in multiple videos, there has been this thought, especially since the pandemic, that many of you have, that for some reason you think when you get on a cruise ship, the rules that apply on land no longer apply to you at sea. I see people doing things all of the time on cruise ships that they would never do when they were on land. And to that I have to say, personal responsibility and accountability needs to be a thing. Sorry, not sorry. Now, I do think that drink packages have become extremely expensive on cruise ships, but I can honestly see why. Some of you are over consuming, and the high price of drink packages kind of discourages people from drinking to excess.
Now, most would say Carnival is responsible for this whole act. They kept serving her drinks. Evidently, I guess they did not have a means of monitoring how many drinks this particular individual was consuming.
She's literally fine. She's fine. No, we're not going home. She's fine. You're fine. Look, she's fine.
They profit from drink packages. If you notice, when you go on a cruise ship, there are tons and tons of places that serve you alcohol throughout the entire ship, almost on every floor, including in the basement. I'm surprised they haven't put a bar in the elevator by now. But anyhow, I think Carnival should take on responsibility, at least a little responsibility for not being able to monitor how many drinks they serve under their own drink packages. Or if they did have a way of monitoring, were the people that serving the drinks knew about it, or did they just ignore it? Now, marketing gets your money's worth. And what that means is that, let's be for real. If a cruise line is going to give you 15 drinks per day on your, first of all, old school don't drink. I used to drink like a fish back in my younger days. But now old school don't drink at all. I just sit back and watch everybody else get wasted and act, I almost said a word there, get wasted and act crazy on these cruise ships.
All right. Now let me try this one. Welcome on board, everybody. This is how we do it. I can't hear you.
This is where some of my content comes from. But anyhow, as far as Carnival is concerned and their employees that serve the bartenders, that's the word I was looking for, serve these drinks, if someone is clearly intoxicated, why are you continuing to serve them drinks? Now, that's where I draw the line at, because you have the capabilities, I mean the cruise line now, you have the capabilities of stop serving this individual. Because first of all, when they go up to get a drink at that bar, don't they have to scan their card, which is really the what do you call it? The way you can get anything or buy anything on a cruise ship. And I know we have the capabilities of doing that today. So, is Carnival responsible? Let's continue on with this. Now, old school would just like to say, if you made it this far, don't forget to hit that thumbs up for me. Like and subscribe, because this definitely helps me put out more material to you, inform you as to when the material has, new video has been uploaded. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue on putting out information like this that you need to be made aware of. So the real issue here is drink packages create pressure to drink more. Are you in agreement on that?
You have to keep drinking, like you said, remember?
Counting how many drinks we had on the cruise this week. I'm Raven. I had 52 drinks on the cruise this week.
I'm Brianna, and I drank 60 drinks on the cruise this week.
This is Landon, and I drunk about 120.
Well, are you? People try to beat the system, and that's where things go wrong. And to beat that system, what we are talking about is they're going to try to maximize that drink package per day. And personally, I don't see how anybody can drink 15 drinks within 24 hours unless they're a certified alcoholic.
When you get an itemized bill from your cruise and immediately realize the drink package was worth it.
I remembered, just to give you a little brief thing about old school. I remember that on one of my cruises, went with a couple of friends of mine, and I had never had a Long Island iced tea. So old school decided, I'm going to try one along with my friend. My friend who didn't drink all of his Long Island iced tea. So after old school finished his Long Island iced tea, I said, wow, this is nothing. Tastes just like tea. So instead of having my friend waste his Long Island iced tea, guess what old school did? I said, well, let me have yours. No sense in wasting it. You only took a sip out of it. So now, after old school finished the second drink, Long Island, I was so intoxicated, they had to take me back to my room. And my friend told me that evening before we went to dinner, when I finally woke up, they looked in on me, and he said that I was on a bed, huddled up in a fetal position, hugging a pillow like it was a teddy bear. And they just fell out laughing. And the only reason they did that is because we had adjoining room, so old school traveled solo as far as that, and they wanted to look in on me. But I will never, ever forget that. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I decided to stop drinking altogether. That's not old school style.
Anybody got that one friend? That one friend that can motivate you to do shit you ain't got no damn business doing.
Y'all, this girl is on the floor. Look at her. Look at her. This child fell on the floor. She fell down on the floor. Come on, girl. The elevator's right there. Okay. Come on.
Now, getting back to this lawsuit this young lady filed against Carnival Corporation. Needless to say, Carnival lost their $300,000 lawsuit. And right now they're appealing it. But this brings about another larger issue now that Carnival lost that $300 lawsuit. Are there more lawsuits coming because of this? Because this set precedents as far as what's going to occur in the future with the drink packages on cruise lines. Other cruise lines are affected, such as Royal Caribbean, MSC Cruises, and possibly any cruise line that's serving alcohol. This could change the entire cruise industry. What do you guys think? Some of you, when you go cruising, you're responsible. You know what your limits are. You just go to have a good time, not to indulge to the point where something drastically could and might happen to you on those cruise ships. So I commend those that drink responsibly, and that's just not trying to say a commercial, but it's reality. Because you have to always be aware and have the mental mindset to know where you are, who you are, and what you're doing. I remember an incident on one of my cruises where a person went on an excursion and they came back and they were so intoxicated. This is true, folks. I don't make stuff up. They were so intoxicated when they came back, they rolled the person back on the cruise ship. What was even funnier than that, the person was tied to the wheelchair so they wouldn't slip out as they were rolling them back. Now, one positive thing about this is their friends had the notion enough to get them back on time, and they did not become peer runners. I know I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's the truth. Roll them back on a ship in a wheelchair tied around their waist to the wheelchair so they didn't slip out. Just picture that one. Yeah. Now, cruising ain't what it used to be in old school's perspective. Just way too much drinking. That's one of the main reasons why I totally refuse to take a 3 or 4 day party cruise, as my cruises are normally 7 days and above. But I guess to each his own. More drinking leads to less control.
Tim's been off a cruise for 3 days and he just can't get any better.
And less control means more people will be banned off of cruising. Because when you start losing your faculties and you start challenging the staff on the cruise ships, or you start fighting in the buffet lines, and you start urinating on the staircases, start throwing chairs overboard and try to scale the walls of the outer part of a cruise ship because you're intoxicated.
Guys, this is crazy. This is why you should drink responsibly. On the MSC Baltic Princess, one man thought, why just drink? Let me just throw all the chairs and furniture off the balcony. This is insane. His name is Odo Crani, construction worker by day and apparently a furniture flipper at sea. You know, I would think when you have a good group of friends around you, they would stop you from doing stupid things like this, but instead they're just standing around him laughing and encouraging his behavior. It's reported that he got fined $10,000 for all the damage caused to the property. He didn't get the memo that MSC Cruise Line didn't include furniture diving into the list of fun activities to do on board. This is really unfortunate. Not only polluting the sea, but also destroying property. I know I've seen one thing or two on cruises, but this one right here takes the cake. What are your thoughts? What did you think? What is the craziest thing you've seen on a cruise ship?
Which also makes me wonder on a lot of people that supposedly fall overboard. Was alcohol involved in on that? What do y'all think? I know a lot of times alcohol is not involved and some other things are occurring, which we're not going to talk about. But more drinking means less control, less oversight, which means safety is definitely starting to slip. And being on a cruise ship, that's one place where you don't want safety to be lessened. What do you guys think? Now, let me ask you some very important questions. Who's responsible for this? Is it the passenger? Is it Carnival Cruise Line? Or is it both? Please drop your comments so we can have a discussion in this. We need to have a discussion on this, especially for the new cruisers. The ones who've never been on a cruise ship, the ones who think they're still at home, frequenting a local bar. Being on a cruise ship on the water, thousands of miles away from home, is a totally different ball game. Because there's only one way to get back home, and that's on that cruise ship. So if something occurs, you're on your own. Because unfortunately, let me be real, if you fall off that ship, the likelihood of them finding you, especially at nighttime, would probably be zero. The oceans are vast, folks. The oceans are deep, a mile or two deep. So the likelihood of you surviving a fall off a cruise ship doesn't look very good for you. So think twice before you decide to get so intoxicated until you lose not only your faculties, but you lose your perception as far as what reality is and where you are. Now, in conclusion to this $300,000 lawsuit that Carnival has just lost, this ain't just one incident. This is about the future of cruising. So what do you guys think? Is there going to be a future as far as drink packages? Or are they going to scale down the drink packages? Or are they going to bring the numbers down? Old School's personal opinion is no. Drink packages are money-making operations for the cruise industry. And you think they're going to turn away money? I seriously doubt that. One other thing I have always had on my mind. They continue to build cruise ships bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm called Old School for a specific reason. I love the way cruising used to be. When you had smaller ships, when you didn't have all the nonsense that's going on nowadays with twerking and bad behavior and erratic behavior and fights and people falling off of ships and all the above. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of it. I am at the point now I'm getting tired of cruising. I love cruising, don't get me wrong. I just don't like what's happening to what cruising is today compared to what it used to be. All right, Old School I'm going to leave it right there for now. So please drop your comments so we can talk about it. And with all that being said, you guys stay blessed.
You ever wonder why cruise lines keep pushing alcohol on their passengers? They try to sell them these all-you-can-drink packages, and there's a bar every few feet on a ship. You can't go anywhere without being offered a drink. And it's for one reason only. It's because it's profit. Cruise lines make almost half of their revenue from the sale of alcohol and other activities on the ship, like the casino and the spa and retail. They don't really make the money selling the cruise. They get you on the ship, and then they start making the money. But one of the downsides of the alcohol consumption is that if you get intoxicated while on a cruise, you're far more likely to get seriously injured. If you find yourself overindulging, passed out, or sick from alcohol, my recommendation is to stop and take care of yourself, because you could end up with a serious injury. And the first thing the cruise line is going to do is blame you for overconsuming.